Happy day until we get to the proclamation.
All
right, here we go. We're here for our weekly Marion County Board of Commissioners meeting. It is Wednesday, March 17th, 10 days after the famous holiday, Commissioner.
It's a good one. It was a good one this year.
2024. It's 9 a.m. We're here in the Senator Here room at Courthouse Square. As always, we start with the Pledge of Allegiance, so if you will join us.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. We have Noni signed up for public comment, which I always say, that's none. I just pronounce everything weird. Okay, so we'll go right into our first item today, which is the proclamation brought to us by our Community Services Department. It's to consider approval of a proclamation designating the month of April 2024 as Child Abuse Prevention Month in Marion County. And we have a whole list of people who are going to join us today. So I'm not sure who's going to start us off. Sarah, are you going to introduce the proclamation? Welcome. And there's a couple chairs over here.
Sarah Cootley with Community Services.
Pull that microphone really close up. Thanks.
So today we are bringing the proclamation asking the county to join the National Child Abuse Prevention Month and proclaim Marion County as part of that. And so I have some guests with us just to give you a little bit of information on what's kind of some data with Marion County numbers and what we can do for child abuse prevention. So I have Kyle Tarr from Liberty House and Vanessa Nordic from CASA and Tanya Hamilton from Family Building Blocks.
Welcome to all three of you, and when you speak, just please introduce yourself for the record.
No problem. Why, good morning. Thank you. This is not working, so I'm just going to slide over here. Hi, I'm Tanya Hamilton. I'm the Director of Therapeutic Early Childhood Programming at Family Building Blocks. And I'm excited to be here this morning. Family Building Blocks has been serving this community for over 25 years with this very mission in mind of keeping children safe and families together, as well as preventing child abuse in our community, along with wonderful partners that you're going to hear from today. This is a list of the committee that is gathered around this year to rally this information and really get us embedded early on and kicking it off that this is important. It's not just this month, but always, but this is where we're recognizing it, and these are the partners that are doing the work here in our community. Go ahead and switch. The numbers, this is where it gets kind of rough. The child abuse and neglect numbers are pretty astounding, some of which are under the age of 41% of the children who have experienced child abuse or neglect confirmed, 41%. I know last year I talked a little bit about brain development, but by the age of 3, 80%, so prenatal to age 3, 80% of the brain is developing, and from 3 to 5, it's 90%. So knowing that a significant number of children are being affected by child abuse really doesn't set them up on the trajectory where they need to grow and thrive. So it's so important to start early on in children's lives so that we can really help create a foundation for them to really thrive in our community. Overall, the numbers are for 2022, 10,711 victims of child abuse and neglect in Oregon. It's a pretty big number. And recently, Salem Electric helped us install some blue ribbons. So if you go down to the Riverfront Park, there is a tree close to the parking lot. Commonly, it was at the Capitol, which as soon as the Capitol figures out what it's doing with its building or finalizes it, we'll be back at that tree. But that tree it stops you in your tracks. You're like, what is going on? It's kind of cool. You're looking at it, and then you get closer up, and then you see the signage that says that this is the identifier of children that have been confirmed in our community of child abuse, neglect, and you kind of just like stop in your tracks. So pretty empowering for us to be able to take action. And Vanessa's going to talk a little bit about how we can do that.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. And good morning, commissioners. Good morning, guests. Good morning, folks watching at home. So we want to talk about
Vanessa, just
a little louder.
Introduce yourself.
Of course, sure. My name is Vanessa Nordyke. I'm the Executive Director of CASA of Marion County. CASA stands for Court Appointed Special Advocates, and we are a 501c3. We are a nonprofit organization dedicated to advocating for all children in foster care across Marion County. We are very grateful for our partnership with Marion County. That includes the staff, that includes Marion County Sheriff's Office, that includes Marion County District Attorney's Office. All of us are working together towards child safety, and we greatly value that partnership at CASA of Marion County. So we want to imagine, commissioners, a community that focuses on prevention, one that recognizes the importance that the adults play in supporting children, building resilience, building life skills, and prevention. That includes folks like parents, but also family members, other caregivers, friends, teachers, coaches, mentors, other safe adults, faith leaders, I think is another important consideration. And all you can do, you don't have to be a trained psychologist or a behavioral therapist or have a whole bunch of credentials. You just have to spend time with kids, right? Get to know them. Teach them how to learn about the world around them. Teach them about body safety, about healthy boundaries, healthy touch, and identifying safe adults. Excellent. We also want to encourage folks to support training opportunities to recognize the potential signs and react responsibly to concerns of abuse. We know that there are free trainings that are provided by our great partners at Liberty House, and there are other trainings being offered around the community. But we really feel strongly that if you form healthy attachments with kids in your life, if you take on a child as a mentee, someone you spend time with, maybe you clap for them at their baseball game, all these things add up and create healthy, positive relationships. And those go so far towards preventing child abuse. So prevention really happens when you become more aware and then you act accordingly. Now, on this last slide, don't worry, commissioners, won't be reading it all line by line.
Her lawyer training is about to kick in.
This is the eye exam portion of the presentation. So, just some highlights from this screen here. How you help is up to you. And I think that goes to the fact that there are so many different ways that you can be a positive role model. At CASA, we train court-appointed advocates to be there for that child every step of the way. And they give 8 to 12 hours a month to do so. But we recognize not everyone can provide that time commitment. Not everyone is prepared to stand up and tell a judge what they think is right for that child. But there are plenty of other ways that are, I would say, less intensive perhaps. Like training your staff around you, reporting suspected abuse or neglect, being empathetic, being available to kids, and knowing your neighbors. These are just some of the things that are reflected on your screen. So thank you so much. This concludes my portion of the remarks. I'd now love to turn it over to Kyle at Liberty House.
Thank you. I'm Kyle Tarr. I'm the Prevention Program Director at Liberty House. And just as Vanessa was mentioning, prevention takes many different forms. And so we feel it's really important to acknowledge and honor those everyday prevention activities that we do that we may not even necessarily consider prevention. But child safety, building those safe, healthy relationships with youth is so crucial. And so we invite all of our community members to, join us, help bring awareness to our community about Child Abuse Prevention Month. So there are a lot of different forms, that your participation can take. If you go to the Marion County's Child Abuse Prevention Month website at parentforthefuture.org, you can see all the different community activities, the displays that will be happening all throughout April. So, even just wearing blue to show support. Blue is, that national symbol for that national color for child abuse prevention. And that's why our theme here in Marion County is to paint the town blue. You can also, get involved, supporting local organizations, our community's efforts to, help strengthen families. It can even be spreading the word on social media, partnering with, everyday organizations that, are really just oriented on helping children, parents, and families. Because we really feel that, together we can help keep children safe. And on that parentforthefuture.org website, you'll see for the Union Street Bridge, that'll be lit up in blue for the first week of April. The Woodburn Bridge will also be lit up in blue. As Tanya had mentioned, the blue ribbon tree at Riverfront Park here in Marion County will have also a cap pinwheel window display too. So just all throughout the community, you'll see different signifiers to honor Child Abuse Prevention Month.
Probably you'll also see that the Marion County buildings are going to turn their lights blue, like we did
Yes.
for Veterans Day.
Thank you so much. Yeah, there are all these opportunities to be aware of child abuse, its impact, and how we as community members can help keep kids safe. So one of those other opportunities that's on that website, parentforthefuture.org, is we're going to be having our Marion County Child Abuse Prevention Month car parade on Friday, April 5th. So some of you may have taken part in previous years. You can register at that link. Anyone can attend. That just helps us have an idea of how many people to expect. So we'll start meeting at the fairgrounds as early as 7:30 at the Oregon State Fairgrounds Pavilion to decorate cars. There'll be window paint markers, posters. Everyone will receive a pinwheel. And at around 8:10, we'll line up the cars, we'll take a group picture, and then cars will start leaving on that parade route at 8:15. And that parade route will take us actually just to the outside of YMCA, where outside there will be law enforcement officers, some of our partners from Salem Police Foundation, Salem Police Department, Marion County Sheriff's Office as well, to greet the cars, to receive those pinwheels, which again, pinwheels are that national symbol of hope and child abuse prevention. They signify, the childhood that every child deserves, a happy, safe childhood and a bright future. So that car parade, everything typically ends at around 8:30, before 8:45. And Liberty House, we will actually, later that morning, open our ribbon cutting on our new facility that will be up in Woodburn. So anyone who wants to participate in that car parade will also have time, if they so choose, if they want to visit that ribbon cutting that we will have on April 5th in Woodburn at 9:30. And so really with, this type of, presentation, this type of community outreach, we want everyone to think about what you'll do, what you'll commit to protecting the children in your lives, because we really believe that everyone plays a role in preventing abuse and help keeping kids safe. And so at Liberty House, as Vanessa had mentioned, all throughout April, we'll be offering a free series of all of our trainings in English and in Spanish, virtually over Zoom. So any community members, anyone who is interested can register for free, they can participate from their own home, and they can learn those skills. They can learn how to recognize potential signs and to react responsibly to those suspected instances, those concerns of child abuse and neglect. And I do also want to acknowledge here, we don't have it on the slide, but if you do have that concern, that reasonable suspicion, everyone, whether you're a mandatory reporter or not, we believe that if you have that suspected concern, that reasonable suspicion that a child's being hurt, call the Oregon Child Abuse Hotline, and that number is 855-503-SAFE. It's 855-503-7233. And again, we believe that everyone has a role, and we thank you all for doing your part. Commissioners, we really thank you for your time, your interest, and this opportunity to share our passion. Thank you.
Thank you, Kyle. Commissioners, any questions or thoughts you want to share before we
You know,
take a motion?
Mr. Chair, as I was driving in here, the thing I wanted to share today, this year, this is always a sobering thing every year, is, there may be people who are in the county or work for us who, suffered some abuse as a child, and it may have never been reported or told to anybody. And I just want you to know, if you're listening, and if you did suffer abuse, that you're important to us and that we care about you. Even now, even if it was a long time ago, and even if, the only person who knows about it is you, I just want you to know how much we care about you and how important you are to us, and how much what you suffered doesn't define you, and how much you have to give to our community, and how grateful we are for your presence and your service in our community. So that was on my heart today as I was driving in, and that's just what I wanted to share.
I guess I would just say that we take this work seriously as commissioners and employees of the county, so much so that we try as our best to help you expand services to other parts of the county. I'm really looking forward to the ribbon cutting on the 5th, and a future one to come for CASA up in Woodburn. I think kids and families shouldn't have to leave their communities to seek help. And Marion County is a large geographic area, and I think at this point we've just about covered every corner of it with really invaluable programs that show up for our community, and maybe that'll help those folks that haven't reported or haven't spoken out or haven't sought help, seek help and heal their trauma and be able to live healthier lives. So thank you guys for joining me in our investments and seriousness of this work.
Yeah, thank you. You mentioned the tree being over in Riverfront Park this year, and it made me think when I first got here, and maybe even before I got here, the tree used to be in front of our courthouse. I see our district attorney's office represented here, and it is a team effort to do this. And when it gets to the DA's office, it's too late, right, that we've failed, but we can continue to recover from that. And then the tree got moved to the Capitol. I don't remember why, Jan, you probably know what the history was. We couldn't.
More ribbons?
Huh?
It was more ribbons. They needed more territory.
I don't remember that the tree got lost or something over there at the courthouse. And now you said that the tree is going to be at the Riverfront Park, and maybe next year we could do it someplace else in the county, because we do so many things here centralized, and I just think it's a really good representation of that this is a statewide issue, a countywide issue, and I just want to thank you for the work that you do, not only right here in this geographic area, but throughout the whole county. And I know that's difficult, as we know as county commissioners, to get into the rural areas. And there's a lot of people live in the rural areas because they don't want government, right? But they also need us at times, and we want to be able to be available for them. So thank you for the work you're doing to expand your programs. And as Commissioner Bethel said, we are so supportive of making sure that happens in any way that we can. And we know resources are limited, but this is a real priority, because if we can protect these kiddos, and I really appreciate the statement about the 80% of the brain development by the age of 3, right? And I know as a long time ago, a dad, early dad, how hard it was, frustrating it was at times to be able to make sure I didn't lose control, right? Or that I didn't do something wrong. I thought the baby would just crush if I picked it up, right? I have 2 healthy daughters and 3 healthy grandsons because they've been blessed in that way. And so there's so many children out there that we need to help protect and provide that same opportunity for those parents as well, because that's really where it starts. So thank you for all you do. And I would entertain a motion for approving this proclamation. Whoever wants to do it.
Go for it.
Okay. I move to approve a proclamation designating the month of April 2024 as Child Abuse Prevention Month in Marion County.
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Okay, Commissioner, would you like to start us off in reading the proclamation?
Before the Board of Commissioners for Marion County, Oregon, in the matter proclaiming the month of April 2024 as Child Abuse Prevention Month in Marion County. This matter came before the Marion County Board of Commissioners at its regularly scheduled public meeting on March 27th, 2024. Whereas the health and viability of our community is dependent upon the investment in our most vulnerable children, and whereas in 2022, there were 10,711 reported victims of child abuse and neglect in Oregon, of which 1,098 were victims in Marion County. And
Whereas we encourage all members of the community to become aware of the issues involved in the prevention of harm to young people, so that the next generation will be safe, strong, and successful. And whereas by strengthening families and providing safe, stable, and nurturing environments that are free from violence, abuse, and neglect, opportunities are created for children's optimal growth and success, ensuring a secure future for our communities, where the needs of children are a priority and the needs of families are met. And
whereas the Marion County Board of Commissioners asked everyone to join together as individuals, organizations, and government agencies to protect our children and prevent child abuse in our community, now therefore it is hereby proclaimed that the month of April 2024 is Child Abuse Prevention Month in Marion County, dated at Salem, Oregon, this 27th day of March 2024. And if you would like to join us, we'd like to take a photo down here, and we'll present you the proclamation.
you get the proclamation, everybody gets a proclamation.
Yes, that's right. Excited about that. I'll stand on the end. Okay.
Squeeze in. Turn it.
Yeah.
All done?
Yes.
Oh, here.
Yeah.
Everybody, you ready? Okay. I guess.
3, 2, 1. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Hey, you want good to see you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good to see you again, Commissioner. You have a great day. Always nice to see you.
Thank you so much.
Commissioner, thank you.
Thanks for what you do. You have a very good picture on their website, by the way.
It's always hard to, how do you call it? Transfer from that.
Transition?
Transition, there you go. Transition from that to other work.
To the consent calendar.
Yeah. So Commissioner Willis, would you want to move the consent calendar this
I
morning?
would. Mr. Chair, I move the consent agenda under Board of Commissioners, Board Committee appointment. Approve an order appointing Bill Rickey as citizen at large to Marion County Solid Waste Management Advisory Council with a term ending December 31st, 2027. Under Health and Human Services, approve amendment number 1 to the intergovernmental agreement with the Oregon Department of Human Services to add incoming funds in the amount of $87,929 for a new contract total of $31,915,474 for Marion County to oversee and provide services for the Community Development Disabilities Program through June 30th, 2025. Under Tax Office, approve an order for a property tax refund in the amount of $26,156.43 for RJ Partners LLC, tax account 526427.
I second the motion.
We have a motion and a second on the consent calendar. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. All right. Our first item under action is Community Services. Consider approval of amendment number 1 to the intergovernmental agreement of the Mid-Valley Council of Governments to add $1,412,445 for a new total of $1,889,147 for management of the Marion County Homeowner Residential Rehabilitation Program for low to moderate income residents through May 30th, 2027. Steve, welcome.
Thank you. Good morning, Commissioner. Steve Dickey with Marion County Community Services. The purpose of this amendment is to be able to increase the funding of this program to fund a contractor payment account with the Mid-Willamette Valley Council of Governments. This program has been underway now for a few months with the recent increases in the cap from $15,000 to $50,000, which was determined last year, late summer, early fall. But this is really to address the process of being able to pay contractors in a timely manner, and by funding the contractor payment account with the Council of Governments, it helps to expedite that process and ensure that they are paid in timely. The amendment does set a cap of that account at a maximum of $200,000, which would be 4 projects at their maximum amount. That account cannot drop below $50,000 until the funds are depleted, available as the cap of this amendment. That way, the Marion County still maintains control over the majority of the funds as it's going through. These funds, once they are deposited into the account with the Mid-Willamette Valley Councils of Governments, then we can request a reimbursement from the Housing and Urban Development, U.S. Housing and Urban Development, thus replenishing Marion County's funds in a more timely manner as well. And I would be happy to answer any questions.
I don't have any questions.
We talked about this a lot yesterday.
Yeah, I think we understand why we're doing this, and it'll help get those contractors paid on a timely basis and have more availability to get these projects done. So I'll take a motion, Commissioner.
I move to approve amendment number 1 to the intergovernmental agreement with Mid-Willamette Valley Council of Governments to add $1,412,445 for a new contract total of $1,889,147 for management of the Marion County Homeowner Residential Rehab Program for low to moderate income residents through May 30th, 2027.
I'll second the motion.
Yeah, motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Okay.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Steve, for your work. We appreciate it. All right, our next item is under Public Works. Consider approval of a contract for services with River Bend Materials in the amount of $330,400 for the purchase and delivery of chip seal aggregate for Marion County, 2024 Marion County Chip Seal Program through December 31st, 2024. Yeah, this is going to help preserve our roads.
Good morning, Commissioners. For the record, my name is Scott Wilson. I'm the Division Operations Manager for Public Works. I'm here to seek approval for contract of services with Riverbend Materials for the purchase and delivery of chip seal aggregate, contract PW 593924. The chip seal pavement preservation process involves the spraying of liquid asphalt on the road surface and covering the material with a layer of aggregate. The aggregate needed for the chip seals has unique specifications required for this application. The contract for services with Riverbend is for a 1-year term and is expected to fulfill this summer's workload. Chip seals are an effective pavement maintenance treatment that provides a durable waterproof wear course and extends the life of our existing pavements. Public Works is targeting about 57 miles this summer for chip seals, and we'll be focusing on the southern portion of Marion County, as you see here. The work is expected to begin about the first part of July and should be done by Labor Day. Our chip seals program goal is to cycle around the county within about 8 to 10 years as we rotate through the county. More information about our chip seals can be found on our webpage about chip seals, and also we'll be providing locations and a schedule that will be available shortly. In addition, there will also be outreach through social media, and we'll be having message boards prior to our application. There will be 1 lane open during this chip seal process. However, I would asks that the motorists would exercise extreme caution while going through our work zones. For fiscal year 24-25, the contract for services payment will be in the amount of $330,400, and was awarded through an invitation to bid. And this is also a budgeted expenditure. I would be happy to answer any further questions that you may have.
Any questions?
Not this time.
Is Marion on there? What, no, what's the street, what's the road between Marion and Staten that I drove not too long ago? What is that? Marion, there's Jefferson.
Between Marion and
And Staten, what's that road?
Staten Road, West Staten Road, there's
Is
Staten
that
Road,
what-
West
yeah,
Staten
run-
Road.
runs
there's
along-
It's State
Marion.
Road. It must be
Staten
State
Road, yeah, is that on the program this year?
We were in that area last year. It may,
Well, this year, this winter, there was a road down there, right through Marion, that was just a mess after they had the weather, the cold weather.
yeah, I believe that would be Jefferson Marion Road.
Yeah.
Yes, we've got some series of, what we are going to do is we're going to do some more extensive repairs with some milling in the wheel pass where
You
we've
gotta mill it
experienced.
out.
And then, depending on where we are, we may forego it, once we do the repairs, forego it to next year and apply more of a double chip process that will require a separate type of aggregate for that, so.
Oh, okay. I know your guys were out there, were patching potholes left and right.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Are you on motion, Mr. Chair?
Sure.
Okay. Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the contract for services with Riverbend Materials, the amount of $330,400 for the purchase and delivery of chip seal aggregate for the 2024 Marion County Chip Seal Program to December 31st, 2024.
I second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thanks. Scott, appreciate it.
Thank you.
As soon as the weather turns, we can get going on this, right? Yeah. Okay, our last item under action is under Public Works, consider an appeal of a hearings officer decision for administrative review case number 23-00033. Monnoff. Nicole, welcome.
Good morning, Commissioners. For the record, this is Nicole Inman, Marion County Planning. Before you today is the consideration of an appeal by a hearings officer decision for Administrative Review 23-033, the Bodenauts. Prohar and Evidokia Bodenov applied for an administrative review to determine the number of legal lots on a tract of land, approximately 26.65 acres in the Timber Conservation Zone, located in the 21,000 block of Abaquah Road Northeast, tax lot numbers 300 and 500 in Township 7 South, Range 1 East, Section 13D. The Marion County Hearings Officer held a duly noticed public hearing on this application on January 4th, 2024, and issued a decision determining that the property constitutes one legal parcel on February 8th, 2024. The Hearings Officer decision was appealed to the board on February 22nd, 2024, and on March 20th, 2024, the board asked that this item be considered today on the 27th. Prior, last week, staff had recommended a denial of the appeal. Since that time, the Planning Division has received new communications and now would like the board to consider accepting it. The general concept is that the applicants disagree with how the hearings officer drew from applicable laws, but there is some consideration that there might be a policy interpretation for the board to consider. I now stand for any questions you may have.
I don't have any questions now.
I have
Go ahead,
this
Commissioner.
is sort of my fault. I just had a conversation with Brandon
Okay, not your fault.
after
Appreciate the
viewing this. I think there is a decision that the board can make that's a policy decision on an interpretation of the law, basically, from our perspective. And so I'd like to accept this appeal and basically have an opportunity to discuss that with the board.
Great, I totally support that. And I will have a lot of questions in that process.
So are you gonna make,
You want me to make the
Oh,
motion?
you bet.
I move to what am I doing? I'm approving an appeal of the hearings officer's decision for administrative review, case number 23033, Bodenoff.
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? So I'll just say that, I'll vote with the two of you to make sure that these people have a chance to be heard and have an explanation of what might be possible. So, any further discussion? Hearing none? Yep, go
When
ahead.
will this come back? Like, what's the timeline for the appeal to come before the board?
We have a good amount of time on this one. They've, the applicants have granted extensions.
Okay.
So, we would need a decision by the board by August 8th, so backward
Yeah.
planning with timelines and stuff, probably, what? Okay. We'll coordinate, staff will coordinate.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. The appeal
Thank you.
will be set. Okay, that concludes our action items for today. Any discussion that you'd like to have?
No.
I feel like we've been doing a lot. It's all just rolling through my mind right now, so I don't have anything to report out on, but.
State of the county is next week.
No, that's it. State of the county is next week.
I'm gonna say some things.
Okay.
No, it's good. I'm not saying anything.
Next week, you got a big opportunity. You can hold forth.
Last night I was at Swamac. Thank you very much. And one of the things that was presented that we haven't heard about yet,
What is SWAMAC for the record?
it's something you assigned me to do.
Actually, it wasn't me, it was
It's-
Colin, but still.
I didn't
Solid-
assign anything to
solid
anybody. I just
waste-
told you what I was gonna do, and you guys got to do with that what
Solid
you would.
Waste Advisory Committee. It's a group
Management.
of citizens and people that are supposed to advise the board, kind of like Public Safety Coordinating Council. Of course, they do more, they have some statutory things they do. SWAMAC is, I don't know if it's statutory or not, but we have this advisory committee on our solid waste deal. And one of the things that was presented last night, they had DEQ on a presentation on the 2025 recycling, whatever it is, act. I can't remember that the legislature passed. And there was all these timelines, several of them have already passed. And one of the timelines coming up was, they call it PRO. And what's happening is that there's all these rules that are going to be made for different organizations, and then there's an opportunity to comment. And I saw that the comments were supposed to be potentially in April. And,
Like next week.
well, I asked the DEQ lady, I said, when's the report draft going to come out? Because it said March. Well, by the end of March. And I said, well, that's like,
Right now.
yeah. Anyways, so what I asked the advisory committee, and I'm going to follow up with Brian May because he wasn't there, he was on vacation, but Corey was there and took notes, is I want that advisory committee to make recommendations to the board on comments on this process as they go through. It gives them something to do. I don't know that they were prepared to do that or not, but it was great to be in that room and say, hey, this is really important stuff and how it's going to impact us and the region. Our haulers and manufacturers of products, et cetera. So really want us to be involved in that process. And that came to light last night by going to that advisory committee. We may even have that same presentation given to us as a board in one of our solid waste work sessions. But that occurred last night. I just wanted to bring you both up to date on that. Amongst other things that occurred yesterday, which I will not talk about on the record today, but we do have some staff reviewing some things to see how we move forward on those other issues. So
Great.
it's good.
We have good staff, and we're making real progress.
The other thing I went
And we
to
follow the laws around here.
And we follow the laws.
what's that the Valor's thing on once a month.
Food
They-
for thought.
Oh, food for thought. Did you
I
go
w-
this
I went to
morning?
that this morning.
Shoot, I was thinking about
I
it.
went and.
slept in instead.
Steve was there today.
I know, I wanted to kind of hear his story. How do you do? Did you do a good job?
It's just, I just know Steve because in fact, he's been with VIPS 42 years and he looked over at me and he goes, and Kevin was there when I got there, right? And he did a really good job. And it's not his comfort zone at all. I mean, he's the guy,
Yeah,
down here.
businessman.
And then they broke us down into groups, and we had some really, really good discussion, and it just was really refreshing for me to think about how I get inspiration and things I do. So, and Steve did a really good job sharing about his drive in from the country and how he prepares every morning when he comes into his office, and it was great to see him and to hear his story.
I really appreciate that forum for just people from the community get to come
It
and
was
share their
packed.
stories, kind of all of it. Like you don't have to sort of hide a part of your story or a part of your person that's important to you. You get to kind of
Yeah.
share.
I was
kind
there
of-
for your.
Yeah. And I remember when I went to it, I was like, oh gosh, what is this going to be? Is it going to be stilted? And I think just having a forum, because Tammy did it once, right? I think.
I wasn't there for hers,
And
but yeah.
I just think having a forum where people that you work with regularly, all the time, maybe for years, maybe for 40 years, can just come and kind of tell their story and kind of say, this is what is important to me, and this is what motivates me, and this is why I do what I do. And to have sort of a broad cross-section of the community come together and kind of hear each other's stories, I think is like a really positive thing.
Yeah. Anyway, so I did that this morning. I missed my workout.
Sorry.
John Miller showed up at my table,
Yeah.
and he goes, "Where were you this morning at 6 o'clock?" I can't work out at 6 and be here by 7:15. And he's in his sweats, right? Yeah. All right. Anything else?
Nope.
How's budget going?
Good.
Okay.
You
Then
got enough money in the bank? You're going broke?
Oh.
Don't
Be
answer that
careful
question.
because
Don't answer that
some people think we're loaded, right? All right, we will adjourn.